Jonestown became its own echo chamber. Everything was filtered through his voice, his fear, his narrative. This was especially clear with something Jim called white nights. These were mandatory all-night meetings where everyone had to gather in the main pavilion and listen to Jim rant for hours. He said the press was after them. The government wanted to destroy them. Defectors were traitors and their own relatives were enemies. According to Jim, everyone was out to get them. At times, the gatherings escalated into rehearsals of mass suicide. Jim would hand out cups of liquid and tell members that it was poisoned. They had to drink it. Of course, it wasn't actually poisoned, just water or flavor aid. But they didn't know that. If they drank without hesitation, they passed the loyalty test. If they refused, well, Jim had armed guards stationed around the compound. The whole thing was practice for a performance that would have no encore. Over 900 Americans, most of them Black and working class, were now trapped in a remote jungle in Guyana with no way to call home. But just when it seemed like no one would ever find out what was happening, word finally got out. And it reached someone who was determined to help. Back in the States, families were getting desperate to find out about their loved ones at Jonestown. They wrote letters, signed petitions, and staged protests, anything to get some answers. And eventually they found a champion in California Congressman Leo Ryan. It was November 14th, 1978, when he stepped onto a plane bound for Guyana. Ryan didn't know it yet, but he was walking into a powder keg. Thankfully, he wasn't alone. Ryan brought a whole crew with him, staffers, worried family members, and most importantly, journalists. An NBC camera crew, a photographer from the San Francisco Examiner, and print reporters. It's the same setup as the Sacrament. Vice journalists came in with cameras flying into Eden Parish to investigate what's really happening inside the commune. The plan was straightforward. Visit the compound, assess the conditions, offer any members who wish to leave the opportunity to go home. But this wasn't a normal congressional field trip. This was a rescue mission dressed up as a courtesy call. The NBC crew, led by correspondent Don Harris, documented everything. From the cramped local flights to the tense arrival at the remote Port Kaituma airstrip. From the beginning, things were strange. The Guyanese government stalled them. Jim delayed the visit. This all echoes the Sacrament, where the vice journalists are guided into Eden Parish under tight watch. They're told what to film, what not to ask. Father smiles wide, but his people speak in whispers, if at all. The moment the outsiders arrive, the clock starts ticking. For Congressman Ryan, the visit to Jonestown was full of contradictions, too. On the surface, the compound appeared functional. Children playing, crops growing, people smiling for the cameras. Ryan was cautious but optimistic. That first evening, the temple hosted a welcome reception. There was food, music, even dancing. NBC's cameras rolled as Ryan addressed the crowd, saying that he saw nothing but joy and happiness. It was a carefully constructed illusion, one designed for broadcast. But the cracks were already there, just out of frame. Because behind every fake smile was someone waiting for the chance to speak freely. As the music played and the cameras rolled, Vernon Gosney watched from the crowd. He'd been waiting for this moment, maybe his only chance to escape the nightmare that Jonestown had become. Gosney had been a devoted member of the People's Temple for years. But life in the jungle compound was nothing like the paradise that Jim had promised. As NBC reporter Don Harris moved through the crowd with his camera crew, Vernon Gosney saw his opportunity. As quickly as he could, Gosney scribbled a note and tried to slip it into the reporter's hand, mistaking him for Congressman Ryan. When the NBC reporter unfolded it, he read the desperate words. "Dear Congressman, Vernon Gosney and Monica Bagby, please help us get out of Jonestown." Harris gave the note to Congressman Ryan, and that's when everything started to unravel. The Sacrament recreates this moment exactly. In the movie, people at Eden Parish secretly passed notes to the journalists, begging for help, just like Vernon Gosney did in real life. When Ryan brought up the note in an interview the next day, Jim lost it. He insisted Gosney and the others were lying and they were just trying to sabotage everything he'd built. But the damage was already done. Word spread quickly throughout the compound. More and more people started coming forward, saying they wanted to leave too. It was clear to Jim that everything was falling apart.